Once upon a time, there was a king who was known for being really brave and strong. He was famous for his courage and power. One day, he decided to do something unusual. He went into the forest all by himself. Normally, someone as important as a king wouldn't go into the woods alone. But he had a special reason for doing so. Instead of just listening to his advisors, who sometimes told him things that weren't completely true, he wanted to learn about his kingdom directly from the people who lived there. He believed that, if he talked to his people directly, he would understand what was happening in his kingdom much better. But on this particular day, something unexpected happened. He got lost in the forest. The sun started to set, and he realized he might have to spend the night there. And spending the night in the forest was risky, because it could be dangerous. So, he climbed to the top of a hill, hoping to see some people or villages. Eventually, he saw a distant light. He thought that light must be coming from a village or settlement. So, he decided to follow that light. After walking for a while, he arrived at a small hut. Outside the hut, an old monk was cleaning up. The monk didn't recognize the king, but he thought the king was a soldier. Even though he didn't know who the king was, he welcomed him warmly. He gave the king some clean water to wash up and made a comfortable place for him to rest. After a bit, the monk served a hot meal of rice and curry. The king was really hungry, because he hadn't eaten all day. He was so hungry that he quickly touched the hot food. But the food was so hot that he burned his fingers, and even dropped some rice on the floor. The old monk noticed this and told the king that he was acting too quickly, just like the king's impatience in other matters. The king was surprised, and wanted to know why the monk thought he was impatient. The monk explained that the king had a habit of wanting to conquer big forts and strongholds quickly. He didn't pay much attention to the smaller ones. The monk compared this to the king's impatience with the hot food. The king didn't really see the problem with his approach. He thought it was a good thing to focus on the big forts. But the monk smiled and explained things further. He told the king that, just like if you eat hot food slowly, starting from the cooler edges, you won't burn your fingers, the same principle applied to conquering lands. The monk suggested that the king should start by capturing the smaller forts and villages first. This way, he could weaken the enemy's morale and make it easier to take over the bigger forts later. The king realized that the monk was right. He had been too hasty in his actions. He thanked the monk for his wisdom, and left the next morning. From that day on, the king learned to be patient and not rush into things. He understood that taking things step by step was important. He began to grow his kingdom steadily and thoughtfully, instead of making impulsive decisions. This approach helped him become a better and more successful king. In our own life, if we want to do well in our goals, it's important to be careful and patient. That means understanding the path to our goals really well. Trying to get quick results can make us impatient, and that can lead to making mistakes. These mistakes can stop us from getting what we want in life. To avoid this, it's essential to know that achieving what we want takes time and hard work. We need to take things step by step. Even though we might want things quickly, it's better to wait. We should think of patience as a good thing and work hard towards what we want. This patient way helps us deal with problems and learn from the mistakes we make. When we realize that success happens slowly, we won't stress about getting results right away. We can focus on the bigger picture and understand that when things go wrong, we can learn from them. When we spend a lot of time and effort over a long time, we have a better chance of getting what we want. It might take a while, but during this time, we learn skills, how to be tough, and what we need to know to finally get what we want. Patience means waiting and not giving up. It's important because it helps us stay calm, even when things go wrong or take a long time. Success doesn't happen quickly, and patience helps us remember that. When we're patient, We don't get upset when things don't happen right away. This helps us keep going, even when it feels like it's taking a long time. Reaching success needs both patience and not giving up. When we value the journey and what it teaches us, we set ourselves up for a good and accomplished life. So, let's keep working hard for our goals, be patient, and remember that the journey itself is really important on our way to success.